What's going on, YouTube? My name is Venator, and in today's video, we are back on Petits Pieds NA server, playing on our Prime Tyrannosaurus Rex, that, as you guys saw at the end of my how to grow video, and in this clip, we just hit Prime, and that's where I left off the video. But I had a lot of comments. A lot of people really wanted to see all of the killing that we would go on to do. So today, that's exactly what we are doing. You are going to get to see all the action from the time I hit Prime to the conclusion of this Tyrannosaurus' incredible life. So I hope you guys enjoy the video, and if you don't want to miss out on any awesome content, please hit that subscribe button down below. It really helps me out. So without further ado, let's jump right back in to where we left off after I selected my last two mutations on my Prime Tyrannosaurus Rex. After officially hitting Prime, we decided to stick around Pygmy's Puddle and do some Stegosaurus hunting. For those who don't know, Pygmy's Puddle is located in West Rail, just south of West Rail Pond in the jungle. And if you didn't notice, a huge advantage that the Rex has over the Stego when fighting in a jungle is that if the Stego swings and it hits a tree first, it stuns the Stego, which allows either of us to run in and get a crush bite. Once the Stego is leg broken, it is basically game over. After we killed that Prime, we heard another one calling from the open field, so we set up an ambush in the trees and we went to work. And after killing some Stegos, we would heal up and then make the long journey over to the river delta area. We went south through South Plains River and through swamps and then came back up towards Delta. And we didn't really find much of anything during our travels until we got here into the middle of Delta, where we found some dinos nesting. So we decided to put on our best dino face and go out into the water and see if we couldn't get either of these guys down. But they were pretty smart and realized that they couldn't grab us and that we could just continually swim around and bite them, so they buggered off downriver. So we continued on our journey, and that's where I found this little Patchy, and I was able to corral him right towards my buddy Legolas, who unfortunately missed the grab, but he got stuck on Legolas's body. So I was able to pick him up and give this guy a little toss. And that's all we really found in the river delta. So we made our way directly up to Highlands from Delta, and that's where we had our first big Rex encounter. It was during a rain and thunderstorm. I saw this very large Rex coming directly towards me in the distance. And since this guy didn't see me, I retreated back into the cover so that I could set up an ambush, or at least scope out and see how big these guys were. As the first one walked by, I could tell that he was a Prime, or at least close to being a full Prime, but the Rex with him was not. So this was a perfect opportunity to stack some PP coins. For those who don't know, there's a system on Petits' server that if you kill any Rex above 50%, you are awarded some coins. And you're awarded even more coins if it is a Prime Rex. So, as you can imagine, Legolas and I are going to try and kill nearly every Rex we see. And for those of you that have played Legacy, you will recognize the obligatory one call after the slaying of an opposing Tyrannosaurus Rex. And then the next day, we continued on our way into Highlands and we found this lone full prime Triceratops. He had islanded himself on this rock. Not sure why or what he was fighting before we showed up. But either way, we weren't going to let this guy escape. He had the high ground. And as we all know from Star Wars, you do not want to attack someone that has the high ground. So we decided to kind of ease off and see if we could wait for him or bait him off the rock. Enjoy. And I'll give it to that Trike. He did the best he could in a bad situation. Anyway, after healing up, that night we found some more stegos roaming through Highlands. I got the first one and Legolas ran down the second one. And you guys will probably notice a trend. We spend a lot, or at least the majority of our time, traveling between West Rail and Highlands. These are probably my two favorite hunting areas as a Prime Tyrannosaurus. And the hunting has been great. Not too long after those two stegos, we came across another one. And with the Rex's awesome murder sprint, you can basically run down anything of decent size, and they don't stand a chance. The next day, we found these two dibbles in the open plains of Highlands. And sometimes as a Rex, you have to get really creative with how you can get kills. Here, the goal and strategy was pretty straightforward. I was going to walk wide right around these guys and see if I could corral either of the dibbles back towards my partner. So let's see how it plays out. And that worked out perfectly. This white nibble did exactly what I wanted. And then his friend, I guess he didn't want to go down without a fight, and so he was coming in to get a little bit of hits on me and completely forgot there was a second Rex. Or he just wanted to go down with the ship. Either way, after that kill, we decided it was time to move on. And we made our way towards West Rail when I heard these Rexes talk and chat right next to us. So I froze in my spot to see if I could spot them. And then sure enough, they came walking out right in front of me and never even noticed me. And this poor guy tried to make a run for it, but unfortunately for him, Legolas and I, we hadn't quite reached our peak yet, so we were still very fast. And it didn't help that that guy's partner just ran off and left him. But it's understandable, he was significantly smaller. But speaking of that guy's partner, the next morning we had made our way to West Rail, and that's when we saw him come walking out of the jungle towards the pond. And even though he's not a prime, he still has a bounty on his head. Once you're over 50%, it's worth all your time and effort to kill any Rex you see. Because hey, money's money on this server, and that could allow me to buy a sick skin like this guy has. It's just unfortunate that he had to lose his. And that should be a lesson for any Rex this size. Don't come to the hotspot areas like West Rail and Highlands. These areas are for big Rexes to hunt. After that Rex kill, we walked all the way down to South Plains and didn't see a single thing. So we came directly back up to West Rail where we had had a lot of success, and that's when Legolas found this stego, and he was trying to make an escape. But unfortunately for this guy, he doesn't quite understand just how fast the Rex's murder sprint is. And it didn't matter how far he tried to run, there was no chance of escape. An easy pin and a free meal. And then that night, as we were headed towards Landslide Lake, we came across this full prime trike in the little compound that's right next to the road as you approach the lake. And he had a baby with him. So we were determined to get this trike down, because just like Rex's, if you kill any Triceratops above 50%, you get some coins, and you get even more coins if he's a prime. And this fight would last about an hour total. This guy was a very good trike player, and he was not making any mistakes, and he was not leaving this little area where he could protect his rear. And I found an opening and made it my way in to get a crush on him when the worst thing possible happened. My spar activated when I tried to crush bite the trike. I guess I crush bit too close to the trike's legs, and it went right through him and engaged with Legolas, thus making me take a nasty hit and a thrash. So after I healed up, the next morning, the baby trike tried to make a run for it, and I was able to stand up and grab him. So I threw him at his parents' feet to show him that we mean business and we were not leaving. And then finally, after an hour, this guy had no choice but to leave his protection. He was starving to death, and he was trying to graze on this grass, which allowed us an opening to get behind him and get some crush bites. And then after a leg break, there's nothing he could do. He was stuck in this corner, and those thrashes were his last attempts. As we were making our way through the jungles between West Rail and Highlands, that's when we heard another stego. And so I went into stealth mode to see if we could get an ambush. Then it was back up to Highlands, where we encountered this prime stego who had a very cool skin on. And you guys know us, I hate stegos, and so he had to go down. He even saw us before we got the ambush off, but once you're this close to two prime Rexes in their absolute peak, at the speed of 33 kilometers an hour, when you activate the murder sprint, there is no chance at escaping. We can just close too much ground. And this guy, he tried to run, but he knew his time was up. And that night, we were making our way back over to West Rail, and that's when we came across another Rex. Since we had killed so many already, we tried to mix things up and be friendly. And what did our friendliness reward us with? Well, a story of betrayal. This guy had a partner waiting in the wings to help jump Legolas, but little did he know, I was coming right behind Legolas. And this poor Rex had a melanistic skin, and his buddy did not care. He just up and turned and ran as soon as he saw me come out from behind the bushes. And this Mela, he tried to do his best, but there was no escape. And this guy even begged for his life. offering us 2,000 PP coins to spare it, but that didn't matter. Even though there was a bounty on his head and we wanted the money, this guy, well, he betrayed friendliness, and so, like the video before it, he had to go. I can't say I blame the guy for trying, though. We'd probably try the same thing. We just wouldn't beg for our life if it didn't work. So we continued on our way to West Rail, and we found a couple more stegos using this heavy fog as cover to make our approach. We then made our way all the way down to South Plains River near the Mudflat area. And that's where we found these two very big Triceratops. One was a prime and the other was just an adult. So I hope you guys enjoy this nice Rex Trike 2v2. And I'll be the first to admit, I did not play that very good at all. I got locked into a little spar bug with the Triceratops and I couldn't get off. I was mashing my keyboard trying to escape. But we got the smaller of the two down and we inflicted enough damage on the big one that he went and laid down and logged out. So after we healed some up, we made our way all the way up to Top Pond, let out a one call, and then laid down to entomb these incredible Rexes. I hope you guys really enjoyed all the killing we did on our Tyrant Kings. Tune in next time for the continuation of my NA Rex, and you will get to see me grow the first entombed Rex that I have played in this new update. We'll see you all next time, and happy hunting.